What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from different comic book companies. Today, we're going to jump back over to Marvel Comics and continue our coverage over the X-Men reading order, and we're going to pick up with Uncanny X-Men number 101 all the way up to Uncanny X-Men number 103. In these three-part issue, we're going to see the first appearance of the Phoenix, but also we get to see Black Tom, the cousin of Banshee. So if you like today's comic book video, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoy today's video. Remember in our last video that the new X-Men were trying to fly back to Earth after fighting against Stephen Lang and the Sentinels on a space station, except they had to go through a solar storm while trying to fly to Earth. Jean Grey was the only one who did not hide in the special part of the spaceship that protects people from the solar storm, because she thought her powers would have protected her. We now pick up with the spaceship making it back to Earth, but of course, no one at this point is controlling it where it lands. So it crashes through the airport first and then lands in the middle of a body of water. Now, Cyclops and the X-Men are able to make it out of the spaceship as it falls into the ocean, except everyone realized that Jean Grey did not come up. So Cyclops wants to go back down, but that is the moment she reappears as the Phoenix for the first time. Now she quickly passes out, and you have the X-Men realize that something is different about her, except they don't have the time to figure that out. One, the cops are now arriving at the scene of the crash. Also, they need to get Jean Grey to the hospital to make sure that she is okay. So we skip over to the hospital. This is the first time we establish that Wolverine may have feelings for Jean Grey, which we know he does, but he tries to get flowers for her. He throws them away because the rest of the X-Men are there too, so he does not want to make it seem like he truly cares for her. Also, the X-Men are waiting to see if she is going to pull through, because the doctors have been with her for so long now. It seems like she could not make it, but of course, the doctors come out and tell them that she is going to be okay. After getting the great news, that is when you have Charles Xavier recommend that the new X-Men need a vacation. Lucky for them, Banshee got a letter about his home, and we saw that in our last video, that a guy named Mr. Flaherty, I hope that is his name, was trying to warn Banshee about something going on back at his castle in Ireland. Of course, he was stopped by a character named Black Tom, and Black Tom changed the letter to make it seem that everything is okay. Black Tom is going to be the bad guy in this video today, but the X-Men decide to go ahead and go to Ireland, where we get to see Banshee's home, well, his castle to be more exact. Which of course we can see inside the castle that Black Tom has taken over the place and forcing the steward there to work for him, stating that Black Tom is holding his family hostage, so he must act normal around Banshee and the X-Men. But getting back onto the X-Men, we see them going inside the castle and getting comfortable in the place. Now this is the video where we get a small glimpse of Storm's past before the X-Men. It is going to be a quick section, but it does give us a lot of insight on the character. Now once the X-Men have changed clothes and gotten ready for their big dinner, that is when they get stuck in a trap, because while all of them were walking down the hallway, of course, that is when the floor underneath them just opens up and they fall inside, which of course was a trap set up by Black Tom. And so the X-Men can land in front of Black Tom, but we also see that he's not alone, that he is also with the Juggernaut. Juggernaut is also known as a stepbrother to Charles Xavier, but also he is not a mutant for y'all out there wondering if he is one. Now, the last time he appeared, it took the old X-Men a while to take him down. They had to break off the helmet and let Jean Grey and Charles Xavier use their powers to shut his mind off. Except right now, they don't have Charles Xavier or Jean Grey here. So right now, the new X-Men must fight this man on their own. Also, at the same time, we see that Storm is not fighting. This is where we explore what caused her to become claustrophobic, because we learned about her fear in one of our previous videos. So with her being trapped down in the basement level of the castle, it caused her to panic. When Storm was a baby, her mother and father actually left New York to go live in Cairo. Storm's mother was from Africa and her father was an American, but wanted to take his wife closer to her home. The problem is that while living there, a war broke out in the country. Where they had lived in the country, they were close to one of the battles. So Storm's father tried his best to get his family out before something happened. Except part of a plane crashed into their home and caused all of the debris to fall on top of them. With her being trapped there for so long, it caused her to become claustrophobic. Now, after the death of her family, she actually met someone named Ahim Al-Gabar. I know I just butchered that name, so please forgive me. Who trained her to become an amazing thief. But then she left him and went to Kenya, where of course she met Charles Xavier years later. Now, Charles Xavier has a psychic connection with his X-Men, so with Storm going through one of her toughest moments of to date, he feels her pain so much that it makes him run into Jean Grey hospital room to get Cyclops, where of course he tells Cyclops what is happening and tells him that he needs to go help the new X-Men, except Cyclops does not want to leave Jean Grey and tells Charles Xavier no, that he is not going to go. He is afraid to lose the love of his life. But before Charles Xavier is able to yell at Cyclops, that is when those images we saw in his nightmare begin to show themselves in a mirror in front of him, which of course makes him freak out like crazy. A little bit of information I forgot to talk about earlier is that Black Tom is the cousin of Banshee. The reason why he is here is because when Banshee used to be an Interpol agent, apparently he locked away Black Tom. The question is, what did Black Tom do to get locked away? But getting back to the fight, this is the moment where Juggernaut is taking most of the X-Men out. But the most important person in this section to be knocked out was Nightcrawler, because as soon as Nightcrawler is knocked out, since no one was looking at him while being knocked out, someone grabbed Nightcrawler to save him from being captured. Now, to wrap up this section of the story, we see Colossus and Storm being taken out by the Juggernaut. Wolverine was taken out a long time ago, but also that Black Tom was able to take down Banshee. So now all of the X-Men who were here have been defeated, except Nightcrawler is the only one not about to be captured by Black Tom and Juggernaut. This is the moment where we learn who saved Nightcrawler earlier, because all we saw were a pair of hands grabbing him while no one was looking, only for us to find out that he was saved by some leprechauns. In Banshee's castle, a few leprechauns live here, but this is the moment where we learn that their family is being held hostage by Black Tom. That is when Nightcrawler wakes up and learns all about that, but also he is greeted by the steward who was forced to work for Black Tom because his family is also being held hostage. But this is where you had the steward tell us that Black Tom was actually hired by Eric the Red, who we saw back in Uncanny X-Men number 97, who had made Havoc and Polaris turn evil. Now this is the moment where you first get to see Nightcrawler do his shadow trick, because when he is hiding in the shadows, he can hardly be seen. It is kind of like him camouflaging in the shadows. Before he can celebrate learning his new trick, that is when one of the leprechauns tell Nightcrawler that the other X-Men are about to be tortured by Black Tom in his laboratory. Where of course means that Nightcrawler has to do something to help the rest of the X-Men, which of course he decides to use his image inducer. For the ones who may not know what the image inducer does, it basically changes the appearance of Nightcrawler to make him look different than what he truly does. So he goes down and pretends to be Charles Xavier, where of course makes Juggernaut go crazy and start breaking everything in the lab, because Juggernaut hates Charles Xavier. So when he sees his stepbrother, he wants to kill Charles Xavier no matter what. Which of course leads to breaking a hole in the castle wall and also making it easier for Storm to use her powers to cause a hurricane in the castle, because now she feels free from her claustrophobic situation. Where of course she is able to break out Colossus and Wolverine, but sadly Banshee was not able to be saved. He was grabbed once again by Black Tom and Juggernaut. This is also when Wolverine learns about Storm lockpicking skills, when she breaks Wolverine out of his binds he was still trapped in. But to close on this video, the last few pages are more of the X-Men fighting against Black Tom and Juggernaut all over the castle. Now, the fight literally ends when Banshee and Black Tom fighting it out once Banshee broke free, where you have Banshee flip Black Tom over the edge and he falls into the ocean. With that happening, Juggernaut freaks out because he looks at Black Tom as a close friend. So he goes after Black Tom and they both disappear. So it seems like the X-Men have won the battle, but also the fact you have Eric the Red have been watching the battle. And he is talking to someone who tells him that he needs to kill off the X-Men before a Princess Normani arrives to Earth, and now he plans to use Magneto to help him defeat the X-Men. And this is where we are going to end today's video. So please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoy today's video.